Yeah, so good evening, everyone. Sorry for the echo.
Sasa umeoga unaenda kufanya hivi.
So happy to have each one of you. Thank you for joining us this evening for a great session of learning. Happy to see that one of our first, our presenters today, Bwana Paul, is already in the house. I was giving Madam Grace a few minutes to be able to join in, but I think she will catch up with us as we progress. And I think it's high time we start because at exactly 2010, we need to be starting to hear from them. I'm so honored to be hosting all of us this evening. Thank you, Team Hallmark, for making this possible. Christine Dalton and anyone else who is around. I want to believe that I'm audible enough, and I think we'll just open with a word of prayer, as it's always our culture, and then we can start recording the program. Father, we honor you this evening and we bless your holy name. We thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for enabling us to gather here once again so that we can glean and learn from the experts that you've given us this evening. We declare your blessings upon them and upon all the learners, and even much more upon Hallmark Institute of Professionals as we transform lives. Thank you for this is a grace that you've given unto us. So we give ourselves tonight and pray that you're going to teach us all that you want us to learn tonight. And as we go out there, we are going to put it into practice to the glory and honor of your name. We bless you and we honor you tonight. For we pray this believing in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. So I would request that we can stream. Good to see you, Mr. Paul. I will continually call to confirm if Grace is around. And we are very expectant. Thank you for all of you participants that have been able to join in tonight. I think looking around, I can see, yeah, we are quite a good number, enough for us to start. Thank you, Team ICT, Derek and Tim, for enabling us also to be on YouTube and on Facebook, so that in case someone is not able to fit in that platform, they will not also miss out. So Atara Solutions, good to see you. I notice your presence right now. Boniface Musembi, Caro, Catherine, Christine, Dendan, Eric, ESS, excellent. Wow, that's, I don't know, I believe that's a name, excellent Mwalimu. That's a good one. Flo and Flora, Francis and Henry. Good, I can see we are quite a number. iPhone, if you can rename yourself, that will be good. Jackie, Jane, who else is here? Juliet, Kellen, Kibibi, Mohammed, good to see you. Leonard, wow, a number. Mercy, Lilim, Norbert. I will not be able to mention all of us in respect of time, but allow me, even as we progress, to appreciate also from Irene to everyone. I can't hear you. Can somebody confirm if I'm audible or not?
I can hear you, Irene.
Thank you, thank you. So someone else says I'm audible, so probably someone, Irene, you're the one who probably needs to check on your gadget. But I want to take this opportunity to appreciate all our partners who have been working with us as we transform lives through life skills trainings. And today, I think I can confess and say I've been looking forward to hosting one that we call Madam Grace, the moderator of choice. And I've always wondered, she needs to be more on the other side of the table. And I congratulate myself that I managed to put you across the table. I know you are the moderator of choice. I'm also a moderator, but I decided to leave the moderator of choice for you. but I'm so happy to have you on that side of the table. Bwana Paul Goge and Madam Jane, I'm so glad that I get to know you through this forum. And so I believe in you and I look forward to really learning. And also to appreciate our partners that have been working with us through the life skills training as Hallmark Institute of Professionals, as we desire to do to transform lives beyond academic and professional courses. I was just playing a video earlier that was telling you about the things that we do, but they are basically at TVET College, offering academic and professional courses, basically examined by the national bodies like NEC. We also have courses by CASNEB, we have courses by HRM-PEB, we also have courses by CDAC. So across board, we are offering academic and professional courses. Over and above that, we also have corporate trainings, which are basically to empower or to continue progressing for those who are already working. And now we have this wing of life skills trainings, whereby we just empower people by giving them what is beyond academics and professionals. And so tonight, we want to delve into this, appreciating Tibu, a medical company that is mobile, that is able to bring medical services to your offices and to your homes as you may wish. We also have Enwealth, which is an administration company for pension services. We also have Sky and Beyond. It's a company that does a number of services that we'll be telling you more about as we progress. Then we also have CPF, a great administrator in the pension sector, financial services, and many other services that they offer. We have BF Suma that focuses on health and supplements, other products. And also we have Passion Biz. They are basically into entrepreneurship, coaching and mentorship. And finally, we have the career management. This is a company that is focused on also growing the corporate world through the HR services. And today, of course, we are happy to add Atara Solutions, and Bwana Paul will also be telling us what you do, from where you come from. And because you joined us before Grace, I would have said ladies first. I'll also give her an opportunity to take some breath and settle in this house. But we will start with you, Bwana Paul. You just tell us who you are, what you do. I saw you do so many things. So I decided not to be the one to introduce you, but to allow you to just tell us who you are, what you're doing, what you've been doing, and the number of years that you've done this, so that we get to hear better from the horse's mouth. Bwana Paul, karibu sana.
Thank you.
Frida,
Thank you. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you.
So who is this?
Thank
I think, sorry, Bwana Paul. Christine, you can mute whoever that is. Thank you.
780.
Thank you so much, Irene. I hope I'm also audible. Just checking. If you can hear me, please indicate by the reactions so that...
Very audible and very clear.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Irene. And I really feel honored to be invited to come to share this particular platform with amazing people, Grace being included, and even the people in this particular room. I consider myself a learner. I learn every day from anyone and from any situation, because once you stop learning, then it can actually be very dangerous. So who is Paul? Paul is a people enabler. I develop talents. Currently, I'm the chairman of the international NGO Human Resource Roundtable. This is an association of human resource practitioners in Kenya who decided to come together, not work in silos, so that we can share knowledge, share our insights, and just learn together. I am also a board member in some organizations. I'm a board director of Care for a Child organization, which is a movement or an organization which takes care of children from poor families or from underprivileged families who needs to go for surgeries, and especially heart surgeries. So I'm not a doctor, but I decided to volunteer to ensure that we also help the people, the children of Africa. I'm also the chair of the board of a public school in my county in Kajiado. So I'm very passionate about community engagement, and I participate a lot in issues to do with community. Besides that, I'm a human resource practitioner. I'm a strategic human resource leader, but I've also done other things apart from human resources, including issues to do with environment. Currently, I head the Liason group for Greening Loitoktok, which is actually a group of community people who actually have come together at a very critical stage, especially during the climate change. And I've been able to work in different organizations, international organizations for at least more than 15 years, ranging from banking, global media, humanitarian sector, which is always called non-profit making organization. And also I've worked in education issues, governance issues, among others within Africa and also within the international realm. I am a mentor. I love mentoring, and especially high school and also young people who are in colleges, universities, and also those ones also who are actually within their professions. Currently, I'm actually in a cohort with some people that are already seen here in a very important program which is called Transcend, which is actually run by the Institute of Human Resource Management. Grace is one of the trendsetters who started it. And this is an opportunity to give people, especially the young talents in the human resource, to mentor others and also to undergo mentoring. So those are some of the few things that I do. I love also sharing insights and information and also to be taught. And that's why I'm very excited here to share my insights or ideas in the future of work, which I feel has already been accelerated, especially because of COVID. I think I want to stop there. Thank you so much. Over to you, Irene.
Wow, thank you so much, Paul. You are so many things in one. When I grow up, I want to be like you. But now allow me to invite Madam Grace to say hi and tell us more about herself. I know she's also a package by herself, but let's hear from her. Thank you.
Irene, thank you. It's an honor really to be here. And good evening, Paul. It's good to see you. You owe me a phone call, but we shall not settle scores here. Right. So thank you very much, Irene, for having me in this platform. I am very, very honored, and I look forward to a very engaging conversation. So my name is Grace Nzula. A lot of people know me as a moderator of choice. I am an HR professional. I am also a certified professional mediator, and I'm currently undertaking ICF certified coaching to upgrade or update in the dreams in the realization of my dreams. I run a company called the Tara Solutions, which is a HR consulting and training firm. I also run a carpentry school where we teach young people on woodworking. I have I sit in the board of EPZA, that is Export Processing Zones Authority. I also advise a few other boards in the both private sector and a few public and private sector. Other than that, I really, really love, I am actually on a mission to change the world through information, and I love teaching, I love training, I love mentorship, I love coaching, I love just seeing people flourish. I am one of those people who, if you want to quit employment after 10 years, I will actually, being your HR, encourage you to leave. Not because I want talent to exit the job market, but because I know what exposure means to human beings, and just to being able to grow is one of the things that give me a lot of joy. And yeah, I talk about
I think we lost Grace.
Yeah, Grace, we seem to be losing you. Welcome back. I think I can see you're back, but we lost your voice. You're back.
Okay. Where did you lose me at?
What was that point? Someone remind me where we lost Grace at.
Yeah, I think Grace was saying that if you, for instance, have quit your employment and you're looking, she's one person who can actually hold your hand as a HR person.
Yeah, actually, I think she left me processing that and telling her she's a very dangerous person to the employer. So pick it up from there.
I am actually one person who encourages employers to keep encouraging people to grow. Let new blood come in. It's okay to maintain those who are okay staying, but it is very dangerous to have the same people for over 40 years, unless then it's the technical industry where those are specialized skills. But it is very important for people to put themselves out there, because exposure really, I was talking to somebody last week who told me they missed out on a job because they have been at a job for 20 years. And guess what that employer told them? That they are looking for somebody who has been around the world a bit, has gone through different organizations, because what they are bringing on board would be much more exposure than just learning from one organization. So that is from where I am coming from with this point. So it is important that I love seeing people grow, and part of that growth is also change, which is always welcome. I know we want to be very comfortable as employers. I'm an employer myself, and I know I want to hold on to talent as much as I can. But at the same time, I also want to grow. And if I'm holding on to talent, I have to make sure that people are moving around. You don't just stay doing one particular job forever. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to the organization. It is also not fair to the society. So it is important that we move across or upwards, whether in the same organization or changing organizations. But I submit, Irene. I can talk forever about mentorship.
Now I understand why you cannot be working for this government, you know, the permanent and pensionable. And I think you can still proceed from there and tell us what has been your experience. I know you are an expert in HR. You are still, of course, doing consultancy in HR matters and working with many people in the same field. And so as the reason, I'm curious also to understand the reason as to why you got where you are at, where you're saying you want people to grow, you want people to change. Unlike some of us who would want status quo, you know, I get surprised when I hear someone has worked for 10 years in one company, one position, and I wonder how. So I'm also receiving some comfort in knowing the kind of a person that I am. I think I also move very fast. So you are encouraging me. So how did you get there? How has it been from the experience that you've gained from the practice?
So how did I get where I am?
Yes, to the point where you're saying you encourage people to grow. It's not right for you to be in one place for 20 years. I know that's where we are coming from. You know, the government days where you finished Form 6 or you finished your first degree and you're placed and it was permanent and pensionable. And these are the people that we've seen working for the longest. And then listening to you or talking a different language. What has been your journey? What has been your experience? How did we get where? Now you're saying, let people move, let people grow.
So I think this is a personality question. I have always been very curious, and I am a lifelong learner. I love learning, and the more you learn, the more you discover new things, the more you discover areas where your new talents and skills are required. So the fact that I'm a lifelong learner and also I'm a very curious person has made me work very closely with very different people. I have been fortunate enough to actually work everywhere I've worked. I have always worked very closely with the CEO or the board, and therefore that has really changed my mindset in terms of how organizations are run, how organizations, or rather how you as an individual need to think to be able to grow. If you look at most entrepreneurs and how they think, they don't necessarily dwell on problems. They're always looking for solutions, always figuring out, how do I solve this solution? How do I make these clients happy? How do I make my employees happy? How do I, you know, there's always something about progression that comes with sitting with the CEO or the entrepreneurs of the world. So, and that has always been a trigger for me in the sense that I really want to understand, how do they do the things that they do? And I actually have been fortunate enough as well to learn from both sides, from the people, my direct reports, and also from the senior reports. So for me, it has been my curiosity and also positioning, I can say that. I love being out there. I love networking. I love meeting with people. I love engaging in intellectual conversations. And I also used to read a lot. Nowadays, I don't read as much. This is not the kind of mentor, or rather the kind of mentorship we're all looking for. But yes, I used to read a lot. So the more you read, the more you want to learn more. The more you read the what, you want to know the how, you want to know the when, you want to know the why. So you keep exploring with these things until now you get to a point where it becomes part of you. So the consistency to want to grow, the consistency to want to do something, the consistency to want to innovate, the consistency to provide solutions, that has always been my thing. And therefore, it gets to a point where I stayed in an organization for about 6-7 years. And by the time I was done with the 6th year, I was like, what else is there for me here? I had grown to the highest rank an HR professional can go to. So my next position was either go to CEO or just exit. And you realize that some organizations don't have the room for you to actually go further. So, and at the same time, there was no, like the pleasure of living. So I just decided to go to the management, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of doing HR. I have done everything there is to be done in this organization. And therefore, at this point in time, I decided, you know what, I need to do something new. And during that conversation, that's how the carpentry school was born. So for me, it's just being curious, being a lifelong learner, and also being in the networks or amidst people who challenge your thinking, and you realize, I thought I knew that, I do not know. And then you keep knowing and knowing and knowing until you realize that this knowledge you have needs a place to be taken, So that has been my thing, to answer your question, Irene.
Yeah, thank you so much, Grace. And I understand you perfectly so well. I think one of the things I would want to maybe rephrase is the fact that when you say you are not, you used to read a lot and nowadays you don't, I think the statement would be you are reading or you are learning differently. For your information, our participants, Grace runs such forums every Tuesday. God, I even wonder how you do that. And so you may not be sitting in class to read and do exams or sit with a book and read, but I know you are one person who is constantly learning. Whether you are doing this in form of a group or moderation and all that, I have also met you. Most of the times, actually, I've met you is on learning platforms. Only that now they are packaged differently.
I must say this. Allow me to clarify this. What I meant. I don't read is I don't read books. Then your normal books. I actually still read a lot in preparation for what others need to learn. For example, I coordinate conferences at the Institute of Human Resources. That means I do a lot of research, but I can't remember the last time I picked a book to like a leadership book. I nowadays just use either I'm listening to a podcast or I'm listening to an audiobook, or I'm doing my own research to be able to know what is happening in the world. Where are we going? Where are we and where are we going? So that is the learning I do. But I used to read a lot of books. Like I can read, my favorite book being The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I love that book. And my current, or rather recent read was What Got You Here Will Not Get You There. I love those books, and I could repeat them over and over. But sitting and taking a book like this, no. Back to you, Irene.
Yeah, sorry. And for those of us who may be wondering what is happening to Grace Network, I understand she's down at the coast, and so probably there are some variations there. But thank you for your commitment, Grace. And so we understand what exactly you're saying. So we go back to Mr. Paul, and from your experience in the many years that you've been in this practice concerning the human resource and all that, we are coming from, as we know, like I mentioned earlier, a time when it was you finished high school, maybe Form 6, or you finished campus and you were placed by the government, you were supported in many ways, and you were given what we were calling the permanent and pensionable terms. And those are the people who really worked very long in the organizations where they found themselves. And of course, if there was growth, it was still within the government. And so today it is totally different. So Mr. Paul, you can tell us what has been your experience in as far as the job market is concerned, the generations that have been there and where we are today, kindly.
Thank you so much, Irene. Indeed, of course, there was that particular time that, you'll just actually clear university, college, whether it's KMTC, whether you're in the university, whether you're teaching, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a medical doctor, and you'll just be posted directly to a particular center. It didn't have to do with even the places that you wanted, but you'll be posted. And of course, there was all the fun of being permanent and pensionable because of the fact that there's job security. And also you have a pension, you have the benefits, but years have moved on. I was not fortunate enough to work with the government. I've never worked in the government. I consider it actually more of a privilege because I think I'm so much of a risk taker. I think I only do one particular role for a period of 3 years and then I move on, which I think has been helpful, and I've been able to work in so many organizations in different sectors. But in that particular, I know a number of friends and I know some of my classmates who got jobs with the government for quite some time. And at this particular time, it's becoming, actually, I was having a conversation yesterday with some friends. Some of them were working in the government, and times are changing. It's a little bit scaring in the sense that they feel quite uncomfortable because they have been so much in the comfort zone that this job has been permanent and pensionable. In fact, they used to be called, nowadays, actually, there's a little bit of a change, which may have actually been influenced by perhaps the private sector or maybe the NGO, that actually people are calling it more open-ended contracts as opposed to permanent and pensionable. Because when it talks about permanent, it means that you are completely permanent. You're almost actually part and parcel of the assets and the furniture of the organization, including the flowers. And that could be a bit dangerous in the sense that you need to be there. And if you're not there, things can happen. A couple of things which have happened is the sense that, of course, within the family level, it has actually provided, of course, families comfort. There's a warmth, the fact that there's a regular salary, there are benefits in that particular case. But in case you look at the current trend, and I think it has actually been influenced globally, there's a trend actually of the government even moving now to contracts. And I think even to 3 or 5 years contract. And of course, for various reasons. One, in case even you look at how things are changing, I think things were quite routine. You just pick a job, you do the same role for many years without changing. So you'll do the same role for a very long time. Especially with artificial intelligence integration, technological innovation. I was looking at actually some of the reports, especially with the World Economic Forum for 2023. One of the drivers of the business transformation will be technological innovation, at least for the next 5 years. So if you are not techno-savvy, in the next 5 years, of course, the journey started a bit earlier, then you're almost going to be considered illiterate. And therefore, the place of technological innovation must be embedded within all the curriculum, in all the courses that people will be doing, because the issues about data analytics, among others, is actually something which will be quite central. Decisions will be made not based on emotions or based on how secure you are within the organization. It will be because of how you add actually value within a particular role. And therefore, there will be need, of course, for people to change as much as possible. I'm very excited, especially with actually Grace saying how she's able to learn and getting to different roles within the time. And that will be the same thing even within the government. So the issue about permanency, actually there will be an end to permanency, that I'm getting to a role and I'll be there. Because in as much as we'll even get into open-ended contract, which is called permanent and pensionable, there'll be so many dynamics in the next couple of months and years to come, that after some time, if you don't do something, you'll be completely irrelevant, you'll be actually completely obsolete, and you'll be the government, even if the government itself, will be struggling actually to retain you. In fact, the government will be wondering, how comes that you are here now and you're not doing something which is different? And therefore, continuous learning. And I like actually exactly what even Hallmark Institute of Profession is doing. A combination of different things, academic, professional, even social skills. I look at my life, some of the things I've been dare to do even courses on parenting, issues to do with emotional intelligence, getting into the environment, because that's exactly some of the real deals will be there. So looking at exactly what is actually changing socially in life skills. For instance, the judiciary, I've just completed a course on professional mediation. The judiciary actually is moving towards alternative justice system. So even if you study law, you can't just say, I want just to be a lawyer, because even the judiciary actually is so much tired with some of actually the increased cases of the cases in the judiciary. They're moving now towards more towards more mediation, among others. So just to conclude, there is that the issue about permanency may have been there in the government, because of certain circumstances which had to be there during that particular time. And the government was a very reliable employer at that particular time, but things are changing from permanency to more short-term going forward.
Sorry, Paul, I seem to be losing you. You are breaking a bit. I don't know.
Should I change?
I think it's your end, Irene. We can hear him.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for confirming that. But I think he ended up with the fact that we are moving from the permanent and pensionable to the short term. I know IHRM and the PSC are very keen now on the performance contracting, and so that is the way to go. I don't know, how do you see it, Grace, in as far as where we are coming from and where we are is concerned, and then we can talk about the future.
I mean, I probably would reiterate on what Paul has said. Where are we coming from? There's a lot of things that have changed, even in terms of the skills needed to succeed in organizations as we speak. COVID opened up a whole new horizon on the things that are happening or need to happen in organizations. So skills like public speaking have become a need. Skills like emotional intelligence have become a need in terms of the personal development that you need to have to be able to actually succeed in your career, and especially coexisting. There's a lot of teamwork and team cohesion that is required in the workplaces, and that can only happen if you as an individual possess some skills that will help you become part of a team and also be able to do what we call self-leadership. So there's a lot of discovery on people in terms of, there's a lot of need on people understanding who they are. We are talking about mental health. Mental health has become a thing in the workplaces. We are left, right, and center establishing employee support systems, employee wellness. Of course, there's still a bit of things that, or rather, a few areas that haven't changed. We still have quite a number of silent areas in the Employment Act, and probably that also needs to be updated or upgraded. But on matters personal development, that is a whole that has changed in terms of what are the skills that you need to excel in your career and also in the workplaces. There's also this rise of different employers. I mean, my friend's daughter works from home. She's a third-year student at the university. She earns 120,000. She works for some company in India or something. And we're like, my God, you should have seen me in third year. What was I doing in third year? You know, so there's the global market has really helped in terms of opening up opportunities for different people. It's not the same thing that we used to have, where you finish campus, the only places to be employed is either government or banking. It has totally changed, and we are, I think, heading into the right direction. Of course, technology has played a big part into the change, but where are we in terms of workplaces and careers? We are at a very good space where you can explore quite a lot. You actually just need to figure out, wait a minute, I am not able to do this, so I can do this. And there's also the need for people to have multi-skills. You have heard myself and Paul, we are certified mediators. That is totally different from what we have been doing as HR professionals. We have changed the way we do things, you know? The same concepts. If I go for disciplinary hearing. Right now, I would do it differently because I understand mediation, and also I understand coaching. So when I go there, it is not the same person who would have been 5 years ago. So there's a lot of changes that are coming up, but the change is not necessarily on the what, the change is on the how we do things. Back to you, Irene.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Grace. And I think what we are saying is generally to just agree that the change is here. I think Grace, Paul, and I can say we are coming from the point where we were talking about the future. And today we are looking at the future and we are saying the future is here. But definitely there is also another future. And I think the next question that I would maybe give to Paul is to tell us, we are having shifts in terms of generations from X, Y, now to Z and Alpha. Oh my God, I was seeing some conversation on another page the other day and somebody was asking, how do you deal with this generation? And so probably Paul, in the same aspect of your experience and having practice and where you are now, how do we integrate? Because I know we still have the Gen X still in the market. Of course, probably senior in terms of age, number of years that they have worked, the experience and all that. But now they are having to deal with a whole new generation. How do we integrate? How do we work together? And how do we get to understand when they come with their dynamics?
Thank you so much, Irene, for that question. And indeed, as you have mentioned, the future that we were talking about, the future of work and the future of doing things differently, was accelerated by COVID. COVID was not a very good thing because some of us actually really were ravaged. But however, actually it really helped us in accelerated the future of work. And actually it brought forth on how things needs to be done. And we can actually see now a mix of different generations, not even actually at the workplace, but even within business. As you go to the academic realm, also you find the same things. You know, the lecturers are all from different generations, and even the students who are coming, who are doing actually master's programs, who are undertaking PhD programs, are from different actually generations. So in terms of how things actually are working at the moment, and I think Grace has actually mentioned something very interesting, which actually my daughter is doing now. Things actually have changed completely, you know, in the sense that while before you had to wait until you complete your studies in colleges and the universities so that you start work, things are changing. You can actually start from any time. You can actually start from first year. My daughter, who has just finished high school, is already actually in fashion design already. And she's actually joining college in September. So things are changing in terms of how careers even are going to be defined. Then the other thing that I just want to mention in terms of the generations in different places is that I think people used to be defined by the number of years that actually they have spent in a particular place. They have worked in a particular area. And actually those particular awards of long service, 5 years, 7 years. There's a little bit of a change in this, in the sense that the reward now and recognition now come in terms of the value that you add in the organization. What value do you add? Does it translate in terms of the profits? Does it translate in terms of a new product, a new service, improvement of customer service, reduction of customer service complaints? It also leads in terms of the new skills that you bring, the exposure actually that you have in the organization. One of the things which actually is there is that experience is no longer actually defined by the number of years that actually you are in a particular role, but the value and the expertise actually that you bring on board, including the learning that actually you bring. So the other thing that I just want to mention, even the concept of mentoring is changing, and I'm very happy that, especially like Grace is saying that as she's going into coaching, things are completely changing in the sense that it doesn't have to be a more experienced person or the person who has been there in a very long time to mentor, necessarily to mentor another person. It could be reverse mentoring. A younger person, I get a lot of mentoring in my house from my young people, my children. They actually sometimes can look at what I'm using and they're able to change. In fact, my mentoring in IT has completely been accelerated because of the people around me. I like actually engaging so much actually with the young people because I learned so much about actually what is happening. And then in the same thing, issues to do, for instance, about wisdom, emotional intelligence. The the people who have been there longer can actually teach. They can actually share insights, because, for instance, issues to do with mental health is real. I think Grace has actually talked about that. And we cannot ignore, we are hearing situations where people actually are going into depression because of mental health. And therefore, the wisdom, which is perhaps with people a bit more older, the emotional intelligence helps in telling you there is also delayed gratification. You know, that's also is another issue in terms of even talking about generation. It's not only about money. It's not about aggregation of your roles and promotions. Also, there's also the wisdom of the society. There's the wisdom of the family. That also is very important that actually you get there. The other thing which is quite important in terms of looking at those particular generation, there's an emergence issue which was not there a long time ago about diversity and inclusion. I think before it was more about the older people take all the roles, make all the decisions, chair meetings. Things have completely changed instead that you have to consider diversity and inclusion from gender, from demographics, from academics, from professionals. And this is where actually now we have different generations coming. In fact, the most stable organizations and societies in the world, which are doing very well, are the ones actually which embrace diversity and inclusion, which actually think about the young people, the old people, the people in the middle. They bring something within the society. They bring some sense of sanity. And it's not only about just academics. There are many other things which may not be mentioned that actually, like, including issues like etiquette, you know. Some of the things which have been disappearing, like thank you. You know, when you go for a business lunch, how do you behave? You know, do you bring 4 or 5 people to a business lunch who have not been invited? You know, how do you hold those particular spoons during that particular time? It's a new concept which actually cuts across generations. Let me just stop there, Irene.
I'm laughing because I know I will meet Grace very soon in another meeting, and we'll be talking about bringing 10 people who are not invited or registered in a business meeting. Yeah, that's a good one. I have my colleague Dalton Nunda. I think a generation behind me, and is one of the people who keeps me on tabs in terms of learning. Of course, I have Derek, I have Christine. I don't know whether Josephat is in the house. Dalton, I know you have some questions on your end. If you can check on your chat, and you'll be throwing some of them to Madam Grace and Mr. Paul so that they can help us to answer that. But as we progress, I think, Grace, we are talking about the generations and their dynamics. Maybe you can speak to us or the generations and tell them, because definitely I look at employment from 2 perspectives, where you are self-employed and also where you are employed by someone else. What are the employers looking for in the current, in this day and age, in terms of when you're applying for a job, what would make you, what will put you ahead of your competition? And what will make you, even after securing that job, what will make you grow even faster than your peers? What are employers looking for?
Right, that's a very important question. But before I answer, let me probably give you an example. In the board I sit in a public board, and sometimes I'm probably the youngest in that board. And today I'm in Mombasa for a board meeting, or rather board activity, and our chairman was not able to make it today. So he just sent the corporation secretary and said Grace to chair the meeting for the whole day. So I've been a chair in the meeting, and everyone else is older than me. So it's not necessarily about age for these things, but the dynamics are changing. That would not happen if it was some eras that we were in. But what are employers looking for? That's a very, very good question. We have actually done a whole webinar on that, and probably that you can share our YouTube channel for people to go and look at that. But in a nutshell, they are looking for very simple things, to be honest. You as a person, Paul has alluded to saying a thank you, saying good morning. There's a bit of humility that employers are looking for. But number one, they need kujituma. I hope we are all Kenyans. Employers are looking for people who can kujituma. You know, I really don't have to tell you what to do. You know, we had a situation last week. Somebody wrote an email and said that you remember the blackout, that they cannot come to work because they do not have water. So they're not able to shower to come to work. So they will just start work then. And I was like, my God, who are these? You know, Like, can you, like, if water does not come for the next 7 days, it means that you're not going to shower. That is such a huge excuse for not coming to work. Whether this was properly written in a beautiful email. So, and for me, I was like, I know that can happen. But my question is, if water does not come for a whole week, you're not going to come to work and you're not going to shower. You know, so what we're looking for is for mutu jitume tu, kidogo tu, hakuna maji. Find a solution, my friend. Find a solution. Let me tell you, I was fortunate enough to work for a very serious businessman that I still appreciate to date. This man had 2 rules, or rather 3 rules. 1, if it was not written, it was not said. His favorite words were, put it in black and white. Okay? That means that we all needed to learn about communication skills. So for him, and by the way, if you took for him something and he did not sign, you will go to a board meeting at Akuruka Fitikumi. You will be left there wondering, my friend, you approved. You approved. You know, so that, and then so communication skills is one of the things employers are looking for. The ability to actually express yourself and the ability to find solutions. By the way, in fact, make my work easier. If you work for Atara Solutions, I have brought you into the organization because there's a part that you need to help. Otherwise, I should go ahead and work for myself, right? Or rather, do everything for myself. So if you're coming into the organization, what skills are you bringing on board? Employers want people who can make their lives a bit easier. That is why you're holding that role. So make sure that instead of being a stressful point, you are actually a solution point. That is actually one of the things that put you ahead of competition, because you're able to move, you're able to look at situations and see solutions. The other things employers are looking for is a mindset of growth. You know, we want somebody who is able to see, wait, here is where we are, this is where we can get, and this is how we can get there. Because one of the ways we are helping manage all these intergenerationals in the workplaces is by seeking for, we have brainstorming sessions. We want feedback from the people. We want engaged employees. We do not want to go and look for consultants who will come and do their own things and then say that we have brought you solutions. No, we want people who are able to give feedback. Even when a consultant comes to collect information, we want to know, what do you think can be done for this organization to actually become better? So we need a growth mindset in the organization. We need people who are able to express themselves and also give solutions to the organizations that you're working for. The other thing that we are looking for are those skills that we talked about. Emotional intelligence. We are looking for people who understand their craft. You really don't have to know everything. We're also looking for good attitude. You know, Irene, I can tell you, I interviewed somebody last week on Friday, and one of the reasons she said that she does not want the job is because the job is in a place where access has a bit of mud, and they're like, oh, how will I be getting to work? And you're like, I thought you were looking for a job, you know. So there's a whole mindset, like there's a whole idea of understanding, where are you, you know. I am not saying that you need to work in a place that you do not want to work to. It is okay to have standards. It's fine. But I disagree with sitting at home because you are choosing the road to which you go to work on. I am refusing for you to sit at home because what is the other thing that we normally say? Oh yeah, the people who quit and say that organization is very toxic. Yes, there are organizations that can be toxic. And of course, if they're affecting your mental health, they're not worth it. But I think I look at it from very different perspectives. Where are you? Because most of us, sometimes, most of the organizations we work for, we are working for them because we have bills to pay. So what are you doing with yourself to make sure that you stop working for organizations that are, you're only doing for to pay bills? Because you need to upgrade yourself. Be a lifelong learner. Be a lifelong, like, receive feedback and be in a position to give feedback. Some of these things are the probably what we are looking for in employees. Now, this is the one thing that I want to put here, Irene. If you're applying for a job, please stop forwarding your email, your application to 10 people. Like, I have to scroll down all the other forwards in organizations that you have applied for to actually find your CV. In all honesty, by then looking for a job is a full-time job. You need to be very strategic. I have been sitting around politicians, and I'm telling you, these guys can plan. I tell you, by the time you see some of these, hey, they think from end to end. Oh yeah, by the other thing that employers are looking for is somebody who can think through ideas. There are people who, like, I have been mentoring some HRs, and I keep saying, if we have advertised for a position, think through what is next. It means that we are going for interviews. What is next? It means we are going to onboard. What is next? It means we are doing 1, 2, 3. What is next when those people are not able to join those organizations? Think through the whole process, because we want you to think strategically, but we also want you to think operationally. So you need to see it through so that you can be able to predict, what does my boss want? There's a very good course that we offer called Managing Up and Managing Across. You need to be able to put yourself in a position and think, what does my employer want and what does my colleague want? And also now be clear about what you want as an individual. Because if you can't tie the three, I tell you, you will thrive. I can talk forever. I get paid to talk.
I hear you, and I'm even wondering, oh my God, I just put 3, I don't know, the two of you are just, your hands are so loaded. I feel like telling you one thing I always tell one of my professors by my right, that I need his head, I need your head, I need your head. What I mean is that I need him to download the whole head to us and to give it to us before he's unable to speak any further, because he's also aging. And Grace, we need your head. I don't know how we are going, where we're going to put it, and also Mr. Paul, but I'm liking what you're saying. Somebody said we use English because we have people across the nations in this forum. Kujituma means being proactive. You need to be that one person who can see things before you're even told. You don't need to be told. Jitume. I have one of my staff who keeps saying, if you tell him to evaluate someone, he says, anakawa kujituma. But ideally what we are saying, you need to be proactive. Before we get into that trouble, you need to have seen it, be ahead. You need to have diagnosed it, and you also need them to have come up with solutions. You need to be that one person who doesn't need to be supervised, hands-on. I think I've tried, translated. Kujituma. That's what basically it means, and many more other things. We run a program that we call employability skills. It's a whole, I know what Grace is trying to compress in 1 or 2 minutes. It's a whole course by itself. And so you can check us out at our website, at our social media handles, and of course, we'll be sharing with you a link for our life skills group where you can join, and also our YouTube channel, where you can be able to see some of these things that we've been able to do, basically targeting life skills, including emotional intelligence, financial wellness, and such programs. And so, Mr. Paul, we are living in the days of technology. And I know, like I said again, ourselves, the generation before, we used to say the future will have this, the future will have this. But now we are living in that future, and there's that concern. Is the technology taking away the jobs from people? Is AI overtaking the people and replacing them? What is the situation, and what are we foreseeing?
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Actually, indeed, information technology, or if
I'm not sure we can hear you, Mr. Paul.
Can you hear me now? Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah. I think I had actually mentioned that according to some reports, especially with the World Economic Forum 2023, the intention is for technology innovation to transform businesses, to make them better. It's not actually to take anybody's job completely. So technology is not going to take people's job. What actually is happening is automation of these particular jobs. It's automation of some of the skills, some of the duties which are more repetitive, to make things actually more accurate, to ensure that there is actually accurate data, reliable data, which can actually help leaders to make decisions. So the more people actually embrace technology, the better for themselves, because there's some actually who said, can't remember actually the name, the illiterate of the 21st century is somebody who cannot unlearn, learn and relearn. So if you can actually not unlearn what you used to know and you think it's the best, then it becomes difficult. And technology is providing that particular space for people actually even to learn more and actually embrace automation and to pick things like, for instance, data. Because businesses actually are run by decision making. In case there are business people around here, they realize that you need facts. You don't need to be, it doesn't need to be run by emotions. Like, for instance, today people are very happy. What does that actually happiness transfer to? Issues to do, for instance, like in terms of employment, engagement, employee experience, is about the data, doing surveys and using data to make decisions. Compensation and benefits are driven by data, information. So you need to benchmark even when it comes to salaries. So this is all about actually picking new skills. And this is all about actually technology, which is coming in. So it actually makes life much better. It makes decision-making more factual. It actually reduces the errors which used to be there. And actually, it actually leads to fun. Because as you go to the boardroom, as you go for leadership meetings, you are actually doing your presentation using data, using analytics, using trends. So actually, technology is improving how things used to be done. It's actually improving research. Now there's actually more the element of research and development. As you go to make your presentation in a leadership boardroom, it's all about what have you researched, from where, from which particular credible sources. And this is all about technology. You need to use certain search engines so that actually you get this particular information. So what I'd like to say is that technology is improving. It's actually creating more roles. It's just like even the era of, for instance, like environment, climate change. The renewable energy is actually creating more opportunities than ever before. So what I want to finish is by saying that technology is improving our lives. For instance, looking at even issues to do with mental health, issues, for instance, to do with digital tools that people are using to logging and getting information, and even actually conducting medical professionals is improving. So you don't have necessarily to drive from one point to another, but actually you can use the apps to make the life easy and even actually to make the turnarounds even much better. So technology actually is even improving even how we make things even easier. Turnaround times are easy when you use technology. So the earlier people actually would embrace technology and not see it as resist it religiously and making it as an enemy. The more our services, our customer service, our business transformation, our products and services, look here now. We are here actually virtually 82 of us using technology. Before, we would have been thinking about how do we drive to Harambee Avenue? How do you drive to Westlands with the traffic jam like today, looking at, for instance, what is happening, to go and actually attend such a productive and engaging session like today. So you can actually see the value of technology. Online training, before it was like, oh my God, I'm looking at, for instance, like IHRM, and I'm sure even still Hallmark Institute of Institute is also embracing. Before, you had to think about, I need to get out of work, drive, get into a matatu, go all the way and attend training. But now there's online training. There's no excuse anymore for to attend training if you don't go for online. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paul. And I think just to emphasize on what we are saying, I remember, I'm reminded of when the first case of COVID was diagnosed in Kenya. And it was precisely a Sunday afternoon. We came from church, and getting home, we were getting to the news, and we hear COVID is here in Kenya. And like before, when we were a bit playing safe. And of course, there are so many institutions that were closed. I was still working in a learning institution, and I remember the immediate thing that happened is that colleges were closed. Yeah, and we were literally sent home. And what that meant is that I'll never forget, we got into the next day, and it was what we called the decision-making Monday. It was meetings after meetings. Now you've been literally shut down. How do you survive? And what I wanted to say with that is that we've seen now even at the level where even the examining bodies, the NECs, the CASNEBs, the HRM PEB, they have embraced technology. Today, you don't even have to show up there to do your exams. So when it comes to learning now, it's very open. Most of our courses, actually, including academic and professional courses, are offered online. So there is no excuse. You can learn over your, you can learn within your lunch hour. You can learn in the evening. We do classes at 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. like we are doing today. And so there's basically no excuse as to why you cannot advance yourself in terms of career. And so Dalton, I don't know whether you have any questions that you'd want to ask verbally, but I'm seeing questions that are coming through. Somebody was saying if Grace could emphasize on the question of, forwarding a CV that has been sent to several organizations. And I think one of the things, Madam Grace, that was coming through my mind was, imagine an employer seeing a CV that you have sent to 5 organizations. What will be going through their mind is even if I was to give you that job, I am so sure you're not going to be with us for the next probably 6 months or 1 year, because most likely you will be looking for the next, organization that is going to give you better terms. So it ends up showing the kind of a person that you are. You cannot, we would not want to invest in you in terms of training you. Even before we do the orientation, you will be, one leg in and another leg out. And so, Madam Grace, as you pick the other few questions, maybe you can talk to us about, we are living in the days of what we are calling the economic dynamics. Can a salary be enough? And if not, we are talking about side hustles. How do we balance as employees, and how do we accommodate that as employers? Grace.
Okay. I had raised my hand up, Irene, because I thought Jay Kagai had raised a very, very important question. He was saying that transition is not easy. Well, how do you deal? You have invested heavily to advance your career, to expand your horizons, but you feel those who should be lifting you and clock blocking like you are a threat. And I think I want to deal with this one, Irene, because this is a situation of the mindset that we have right now. This, Mr. Kagai, you need to change your mindset. Don't wait for people to put you somewhere. Make sure that you're putting yourself in spaces where opportunities are. Okay? You don't wait for your employer to notice you. You don't wait for another organization to notice your work. You put yourself in places where there are opportunities that as you get noticed, people will notice your value and not necessarily any other thing. I don't know whether I'm making myself clear. So the first thing that you need to do is change your mindset. Fine, you're in this situation where you have invested in yourself. What are the opportunities available? People aside. And then who else are you looking for? Who are the people in your circle? There's something I like referring to called the circle of excellence. My circle of excellence, and what I recommend to you as you grow in your career would be, you need to have a mentor. You need to have a mentor who will help you deal with your mindset. You need to have a coach who will help you unlock your potential. You also need to network with people in the field that you want to go to. You need to upgrade and update yourself, not necessarily by certificates, but just by being able to talk to people and picking information that will help you step on to the next level. Number 4, change your mindset. You do not have to be in that organization only. You can look for jobs as you balance off with the organizations that you're in. Look for opportunities that will help you grow. So this thing of being locked because my employer does not, my friends, do you know how many employers we are in this country? Please change your mindset. I urge you, change your mindset. And I'm not only, I know I'm addressing quite a number of people. Thank you for being bold enough to ask that. Please don't look at your superior or the person you're reporting to or the people who are supposed to give you opportunities as the people who are standing in your way. It is you who is standing in your own way. Change your attitude, change your mindset, look for opportunities that present themselves. I was very happy when Paul at one point brought his daughter to a networking dinner. And I was like, this is the kind of people we want in this society, because these girls came in, and I remember Paul just saying, my daughter has just got an internship by the virtue of being here. I know not all of us have Paul as dads, but that is, I see young people. I had a friend who came from Naivasha the day we had an event at Nokras. Do you know, as soon as we sent out that flyer, she had been paying 1,000 shillings every month so that she can be able to attend that networking session. And I'm telling you, she came, she networked, she found a lawyer. She was about being an IHRM member because she did not know a lawyer who would certify her documents. She came, IHRM was in the house. She was taken through the process. She met a lawyer who actually offered to do this thing for free. And that has changed her mind. In fact, after that networking session, she's always like, Grace, I have an interview next week. I have an interview tomorrow. It has opened her horizon. So I would suggest that you make sure that you are established a circle of excellence who are in your personal board. You need to be very strategic about the people you're hanging out with. Number 2, change your mindset, because opportunities come for the prepared. How prepared are you mentally, physically, psychologically for these new opportunities? Because no one will come for you. You have to go for those opportunities yourself. You've ever heard of the phrase that power is never given, power is taken. Make sure that even if you do not know, try and get out there, learn, ask people. Even today, I can tell you, I still will call a few people and say, how do we do 1, 2, 3? I have just written a book here. What got you here will not get you there. You'll get an opportunity. But my friend, for you to grow, your CV right now will only get you that opportunity. But for you to move to the next level, there are things that you need to put in place for you to get there. Irene, you asked about job application. Now, yes, you need to take applying for jobs very seriously. The casualness I see, and I'm like, my God, why can't people just strategically position themselves, even if it's an email you're reading? Do you know there are emails we read and we're like, oh my God, we do not have that position, but we want to have this person at an interview. And for us, because we are recruiters, for us, we are like, oh my God, you interview somebody and you park them at the back of your mind because you have seen talent and you would want to put that talent somewhere, such that when Irene reaches out and says, Grace, I'm looking for a receptionist, I'll be like, there's this lady we interviewed. She was very good, but we could not afford her. That is how opportunities are received. But unfortunately, job seekers don't read the advertisements. And right now we are recruiting using an ATS. ATS is automated tracking system. It is like Paul has said, we are changing the way we do things. Technology is making our work easier. So read. If the subject line, the other day we were recruiting for like 10 positions for one organization. They're opening a new branch. And it was very simple. Write on the subject line the position that you're applying for. Now imagine I have received 1,000 emails. Who do you think I will open? You think the one that has forwarded 10 times is what I will look? I will not even open your application. I can tell you that for a fact. So the ATS will give me a summary. Then I will go and look for what I wanted, a summary that has been presented. Then I will check and look now, how do I make sure that this person fits into the culture of this organization? So if you are a job seeker, please take that assignment seriously. Make sure that you read through what does the people want. Is my CV able to get me this position? And what you need to do is make sure that once you get an opportunity for an interview, make sure you shine. Whether written, whether oral, make sure you're acing it. They would rather not give you the opportunity because you're too expensive, but make sure that you have wowed them such that if they ever get that opportunity again, you'll be the first person to be called. Irene asked me to speak about side hustle. Okay, we are living a point where the economy is really demanding a lot of us, a lot from us. Now, I normally say you have 24 hours in your day, right? And I was actually coaching somebody the other day who was like, Grace, how do you do all these things? Because they have just gone into to entrepreneurship, they have different jobs that they are doing, and they're like, my God, I cannot even satisfy all my clients. And I keep saying, you have 24 hours in a day. If you're employed from 8 to 7 o'clock, because there's commute time, so maybe from 6 to 7 p.m., you get home, you need to refresh, you need to spend at least 2 hours doing something else that is able to give you income. You also need, for example, my house girl sells porridge. Do you know what she does? She wakes up at 4:30. She sells porridge and chapati. So she wakes up at 4:30. She candas her unga, or she rolls, she makes the dough. Sorry, I had forgotten we have non-Kenyans. So she makes the dough, and then she rolls the chapati. You know how we roll before we start rolling the ones for the pan? I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, you understand what I'm going with. So you do the dough, then you make those tiny circles, then she leaves there. Then because my children wake up at around 5:30 to get ready for school, she'll do that as she makes their breakfast. So that by the time they are waking up, she's done with the breakfast, it's on the table. So if the kids are coming out to come and have their breakfast, she's already cooking her chapati. Then she'll be done. My kids will be out by 6:20 to go to school. And then, sorry, I'm tethering with my phone. Can you hear me? Dalton,
Yes,
can
we
you hear me?
can. Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can.
There was a
Yes.
call coming, so right. So she then will leave at around 8. Personally, I leave the house between 7:30 and 8. So by the time I leave with her. She'll go and hawk her porridge and her chapati, and by 9 o'clock or 10, she's back in the house. She'll do her chores, you know, clean the house, do the laundry, whatever she needs to do. Then at 4 p.m., she'll go again round as she goes to look for sukuma wiki or vegetables. She'll go and collect the money from the people who have not paid her. And my friend, I am telling you, she's the happiest woman I have now. In fact, she was just saying, I am praying for you. So for her, she has decided to use her 24 hours in a different way. You know, she'll make sure that she's asleep by 10 so that she's able to wake up at 4:30 and be able to fit everything in her day. If you sleep at 10 and wake up at 4:30, my friend, you're an adult, you have covered all the hours you need to cover. So it is just about timing, it is just about managing yourself, and also supporting the people, because I know the employers who will not allow you. But I can tell you, if you're an employer in this call, let people grow. All you need to do is make sure that they're, in fact, I keep reminding her, by the day I come and find my work not done, I will close your shop. And when I say that, she's like, okay, I understand I missed out on a spot, I will do better. Because both of us, by the happier she is, the more comfortable I am. I travel a lot. So if she's happy, I'm happy, the kids are happy, and we're moving. So if you're looking for a side hustle, please make sure that you get one. It is okay to have a side hustle.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Grace. And of course, the emphasis that we have 24 hours in a day. Some of us will prefer to sleep more. Others will be found watching Afro cinema that earns value in a different way. But then looking at it, I hope for us who have joined to learn, we are already picking ideas, by the way, because like, for example, when you're coming to Hallmark to learn, most likely you will not get study leave from your employers. You will be learning during your free time, and you are supposed to organize yourself to be able to do that. Somebody was asking, how do you ensure that employees are proactive and work under minimum supervision? I think Grace has just ended it at a very interesting point, which I would want also to pick from, is that if you are proactive, there are rewards that come with that. Of course, the reward system, which means there are opportunities that come for you. I personally am one person who doesn't like micromanaging. I just get tired of just having to, micromanage or supervise you like hands-on. It just takes away my energy. So what are some of the ways that you help people to be able to, or encourage people to be able to be proactive and work with minimum supervision? Of course, one of them is putting systems in place. With system, you're able to tell. Somebody was supposed to do 1, 2, 3 things and they didn't do it. So the system will definitely tell. Of course, we are dealing with human beings, and the nature of most human beings is we always ask, what is the least I can do and get paid the most? That is just naturally who human beings are. It is, of course, takes us back to the theory X and Y, but where you find that most individuals don't really want to work, but they want to earn. How does that happen? So putting systems in place, of course, you cannot avoid supervising people. I think I get to come to terms that it's one of the things that you have to do. And I normally say that is what also managers are paid for, to supervise and to push other people. But then, of course, if you're a proactive person, what rewards are there for you? Of course, opportunities to grow, opportunities to, make your own extras and make your own money, and you become even happier. Of course, training. I mentioned something or a program that we run that we call it employability skills. That is one of the gospels that I preach a lot today. And we also have another program that we call Behaving Like the Owner. When I bring on board people into my organization or wherever I am working, I normally tell them, I'm just giving you a platform. By the way, it's an opportunity I opened for you. But from there, it is either you're hiring or you're firing yourself. If you mismanage your work, if you don't perform, you fire yourself, probably you will fire a few, 3 more people. But remember, because I'm the one who brought you, I'll be the very last person to leave. But if an employee of Hallmark falls Hallmark or makes Hallmark not grow, it means we all stagnate. But if you're proactive, the Kujituma that Grace is talking about, it means the organization grow and you also grow with it. So opportunities that come there about. But so looking at, individuals, we're asking ourselves, can you be able to look for opportunities without being told? I'm so impressed by your house girl, Grace. Most of the house girls, what do? They finish work by 10. But what do they do with the rest of the day when they're alone in the house? That's what I was saying. They watch Afro cinema. I don't know whether, Dalton, you have any questions on your end that you wanted to ask verbally. Christine, kindly share the life skills page link for those who would be willing to join for more information and to be kept updated with what is coming up next. Remember, we are saying, yes, certificates are good, academic and professional courses are good, but what will make you grow faster or even sustain what you already have is what we are calling life skills trainings. And this is one of the things that we do, at least on generally once a month or once every 2 weeks. Dalton, any questions from your end?
Yes, and thank you very much, Madam Irene, for the opportunity to pose a question. So one of the questions I have tonight is the question of how the newer generation of employees can connect best with the older generation at the workplace, because we're having different mindsets and people observing, people having a different way of looking at things. So kindly, Madam Zula, if you can, maybe you can give us your view on that.
I want Paul to take that one because he actually has young adults. I want to answer the question on public service because I chair a HR committee in public service. So Paul can take the question on the multi-generation.
Thanks. Thank you so much for the question. I think the first thing that I would like just to say is it's very important to have open and respectful communication. One of the things which actually the Gen Z, sometimes they always feel like, especially the young generation, they're ignored. And the fact that they're young, sometimes people feel like they have nothing to offer, and there's so much that's to offer. So the importance of respectful and open communication. The other thing is just about active listening. Sometimes I think what happens is that people always listen so that they can react immediately, not being there completely in that particular space, being empathetic completely to listen. Affirmation is quite key. In fact, one of the key areas in terms of like mental health is even just affirmation and telling people, that was good, excellent work. And starting even with the positives, the positive vibes completely help. The other thing is actually just even in terms of mentorship, I think you just mentioned about not only the mentorship in terms of like upward for the people who are more experienced, but looking for opportunities to be even for reverse mentoring by the young people. They have so much to offer. They can solve problems within a very, very short time if they are given an opportunity actually to talk about it. And then there's something else about delayed gratification. Things don't have to be done overnight. In fact, nothing actually succeeds overnight. In as much that we are saying that these things have accelerated the future of work, it's very important to actually have delayed gratification. And that's where the place of wisdom from the society, drawing wisdom from people, inclusion, involving people in conversation is very, very important. And then definitely learning is ongoing, picking soft skills, joining Toastmasters, for instance, to pick communication, Rotary to learn even issues about humanitarian areas is very important. In fact, some of the connections and opportunities that people get most is when they volunteer, being visible in some of these particular spaces, in Rotary, in Toastmasters, in community engagement, and not always, and I think Simon Sinek said, when you show up, don't show up to get, show up to give more. And then people actually will pick it more. They realize that you are there. And this is very important even for the younger generation, that they can actually pick. And even for the older generation, honestly, giving people an opportunity, the younger people an opportunity to shine, to be visible, to do job rotation. And then just finally, as I'm closing it because of time, being there to speak the business language. Don't concentrate to say that I'm IT, I'm human resources and marketing. When you're given an opportunity to give remarks, talk on behalf of the organization, speak the business language, pick the business jargon. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Grace, please take it on and answer the questions that you're answering. And then to 8, you can answer this question of how does one get to know the right career and the right course to take?
Okay. So for jobs in public service process is a strict of processes. If you have for example, if there's an advertisement for HR position, please read through the requirements, because during shortlisting, the first thing we use to knock people out is the minimum requirement. So if the job requires you to have a master's degree, make sure you have a master's degree. If the job requires you to have leadership course that spans not less than four weeks. These are leadership courses that are designed by government. There's some that are offered in KSG, that is a senior management course. We call it SMC, or you can have attended leadership courses for a whole week that go for 4 weeks. So you can join like the SAMIs and all those leadership programs that are sold differently, so long as they are 4 weeks. So if you've been applying for jobs and you have not been meeting the minimum requirements, I can tell you for a fact, you will not even be given an eye for an interview. So the basics, like for government, they are stricter for processes. What they put out in the ad is actually what we use to shortlist. Then from shortlisting, we look for, we come up with different criteria. So the first criteria would be the degree and either the degree or the master's. If you meet those ones, then you can be able to, we look at now experience. If the experience says that it's 9 years with 3 that are in leadership positions, make sure that you have the 3 in leadership, because that is another way that we use to knock you out, because you can advertise for a position and get 500 applications. So for you to be able to draw down to the 10 that you can interview, there's a lot of work that goes into that. So make sure that you meet the basic minimum for government to be able to be given an opportunity. And of course, prayer. I believe that you need to pray, in all honesty, because I'm also a believer in purpose. You are where you are supposed to be. So wherever it is that you are in your life, you need to know that you're where you are supposed to be. And at that point, there's a purpose you're serving. And I can tell you for a fact, as long as you're not done serving that purpose for whatever it is that you're doing, you will not get to the next level. So you need to make sure that you keep praying that God, show me your purpose. Let me know what else I need to do at this point that I am in, because I need to move to the next level. So if you don't pray, I think it is time you also dedicate that to prayer. And as much as that, then include networking in that part, because that's the only way you know when these positions are coming, yeah? So that then you're aware of when they are starting, when they are closing, have they been re-advertised, what is happening in those institutions that you want to be employed at. That is what I can say about public service. The other question was on what? Remind me the other question.
How to know the right career and match it with the right course. And I think I'm glad that, of course, that relates to purpose and all that. You can pick that up. But there was also a question that was asking about who you know, of course, determines the job that you get. I think you've also touched on that. Networking is very important, but is it all? But also someone, allow me to add you this, Grace, someone who is asking to kindly elaborate on permanent and casual terms of engagement in a private sector industry. I hope you'll be able to handle that as well.
Okay. So in terms of skills and what you need to study, I'm not your normal career advisor. So I will say this. For me, I'm normally driven by passion. For me, I normally am driven by interest. What do I want to be? You know, what is exciting me right now? What is the job market saying about this? So first of all, you need to check with yourself. What do I really want to do? Let me tell you something about doing what you enjoy. Even in the workplaces, we will pick that you actually enjoy your job, and we will be happy to give you responsibilities because we can see that you enjoy the job that you're doing. So will I tell you that to go and study journalism just because? No, I will not. I did journalism and I'm an HR currently, you know. Sometimes in terms of basic education, sometimes all you need is a paper to get you somewhere. So whatever it is that you wish to study, please go ahead and study that. Because sometimes you need, I can tell you, a few years ago, like 10 years back, we had lost the whole technical education thingy. It was not marketable anymore. Right now, we are actually getting funding to train people on technical skills. So the world rotates. And like we have been saying this one, I said it, Paul has said it. It is not what you do that has changed. It is how you do it that sets you apart. So if you want to become an HR like Paul, go ahead and become an HR. If you want to become a teacher like Irene, go ahead and become a teacher. And then from there, look for opportunities that will propel you to the next level. Do not ever be comfortable by the basics. You know, there are people who are very comfortable getting the bare minimum. Please don't get comfortable with bare minimum. Keep growing yourself. Paul has just said here, he's a certified professional mediator. He has also said he works in a community setup where he helps Green Oloitoktok. He plants trees every Saturday. He enjoys doing that, you know. He might get funding to continue planting trees, and that will be a whole income opportunity for him. So there is no like one size fits all. I can tell you that for sure. Just make sure that you follow your heart and also be in touch with what is happening in the workplaces so that you can know how do you develop those skills that you actually have. There's the idea of who you know still apply. Well, I believe we're in a society of where networking actually works. And like Paul has said, in networking, it is not what you can get, it is what you can give. In fact, sometimes I keep thinking, I get a lot of messages, give me a job, give me a job, give me a job. And I'm like, I have 100 people looking for jobs. What sets you apart? What is the one differentiator that you have that will make me remember that Dalton is actually looking for a job? Yeah, because I mean, we have a following of over 10,000 people. So you can imagine if 10% of those people are looking for jobs, how will I remember who you are? You know? So, and that the onus is not on me. Don't say that Grace Anaongea, she's speaking like she's very proud. No, it's I'm laying it as it is. I'm telling it like it is. What is the differentiator? What is that the one thing that I can remember you for? What else was I supposed to answer?
I think let's leave it at that, Madam Grace. I know you can talk and talk your passion, your heart, and we are running out of time. I think we need to close this in the next 7 minutes as we go to 9:40. And maybe just word on something to someone who was saying, how do you know the right career and the course to pick? And Grace is talking about passion. I'm also a believer that whatever course you ever take never goes to waste. And this, you can take it from me. When I started, I like telling people that growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to become. But one thing I knew is that I didn't want to become a teacher. But now see my life. But how did I start? I started by doing marketing management. You know, that was my course. Because by the time, I am not one of those people who went directly to campus. But I went to college when I was still working. I was doing marketing research. And so I thought, why not do marketing? And let me tell you, I'm now in the world of education. You know, my life as a teacher, I love it, I enjoy it. But one of the things that makes me, you know, thrive best is the marketing course that I did. I'm looking at Grace, and she says she did journalism, and now she is a HR practitioner and professional. And I'm seeing a lot of the journalism in her, because the webinars she conducts, the way she's able to do, you know, public speaking and present herself, I still see the journalism aspect coming out for her and working very well for her. One of the things that I say as an employer, we are looking for, if you came to an interview at Hallmark Institute of Professionals, and one of the people who are interviewing you, besides having, you know, knowledge and qualifications for that role that we had advertised for, I'll be looking at what else can you do? What is the extra thing that you can do? If we are calling for someone to do, you know, traditional marketing, and you come and say, I can do digital marketing, I can do graphics design, you know, we look at you and we are saying you can do more than, you know, 1, 2, 3 things. That is one of the things that will sell you. So I think I like telling young people that no course that you take will ever go to waste. There comes a point in time where it will come working for you. So it's very important what you find to learn, keep learning and keep adding to what you can be able to do. The question of do you have to know someone, or you know who you know matters in the sector. The other day I actually learned, and I can confirm, it's not just about who you know, but it is also about who knows you. It is about who knows you. So as you present yourself there for networking, make sure you are getting to do real networks that are going to work for you in the future. And so as we come to a conclusion, I want to give Mr. Paul an opportunity to do the closing remarks. I know there are so many questions. We have shared a link for you to join our live skills page, where you can keep asking those questions. We can see whether you're going to do, you know, a phase 2 of this. And we keep learning, I will be sharing Atara Solutions platform so that you can also check them on YouTube and their social media platforms so that you can learn. Because I'll tell you, I can confidently say I am what I am, courtesy of learning from these experts in the industry. Bwana Paul.
Thank you so much. I think for me, it's about the power of consistency. Career is nothing short of consistency. And one of the powerful quote I always say, and Grace is aware, is that if you're persistent, you'll get it. But if you're consistent, you'll keep it. The importance of career trajectory is consistency. The other thing which is quite important, and I think we have actually been able to amplify, is the importance of visibility. No one will give it out to you. You have to go out there, attend networking events. You have no idea who you're going to meet there. You may actually meet your next big thing, or sometimes even meet your influencer. So keep doing your best. Attend as many trainings as possible. Show up. Be visible. Try as many things as possible. It is very difficult nowadays to get actually somebody who is actually confined to a particular silo, that I'm a marketing manager. Be as diverse and as versatile as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. Madam Grace, your closing remarks, and then I'll close this for us.
Right. I think, Paul, I love that quote. If you're persistent, you'll get it. If you're consistent, you'll keep it. I love that. What are my closing remarks? I think Paul has captured quite a lot, but probably what I can say, be the best at what you do. And for sure, it will come for you. Keep perfecting your skills. Keep getting better. Progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. Thank you, Irene.
Thank you so much, Madam Grace and Mr. Paul. I can't thank you enough. And on behalf of all these learners, I know we will keep following you. We will keep learning, and we salute you. Thank you for availing yourself. Thank you to Team Hallmark, Dalton, Christine. I think once again you can keep sharing the invite to the live skills page. I am seeing Paul's hand is up, if I'm not wrong, and I'm just admiring your background. It looks very, you look like you're at KICC in this week. Please, you can unmute and say what you want to say, and then I'll close with what I wanted to say, just an announcement.
Thank you. I just want to salute actually the Institute for what you are doing. It's not all the institutes which do this. Please keep doing this. Very, very important. So I just want to sincerely congratulate you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that, and it goes a long way. Thank you so much. I was saying Team Hallmark, Christine, Dalton. I don't know whether Josephat made it to the meeting, but we also have our board members. I don't know whether Mr. Mwangangi, you're still with us. My professor, I salute you, an expert in the pensions industry. But just to conclude by saying, like I said when we were starting, we offer a dynamic courses, professional academic courses, which are examined by the national bodies, including the CASNEB, the HRMPEB, the CDAC, And also, which other one? That one is keeping my mind. Okay, HRMPEB, CASNEP, the NEC. Yeah, NEC is what was keeping my attention. And so if you're looking to be a professional HR like Grace, CHRPK, we have that course for you. We also have programs for the young people who have just finished Form 4. They are not going to campus. You can come and do your diploma. If you have done your degree and you need to do your professional courses like the CPAs, the CHRPs, and the likes, we are there for you. Remember, we said our programs are very flexible. And just to add, for those of you who are there, you're looking for other opportunities, extra things to do, we have marketing opportunities open for you. You can apply. I think on the life skills page, we are going to send a request for you to apply, because we are looking for people to do marketing with us. And also, finally, somebody was asking if we can have CPD points to some of these programs, because they are very enlightening, and you'd also want to use them to be in good standing with the IHRM. And just good news is to say that, yes, very soon we are launching CPD points programs with the IHRM, so be on the lookout. And definitely, as we learn from the best, you're going to be earning the CPD points. Also, to just maybe mention that some of them we may need you to pay just a small fee, because of course the CPD point courses comes with a small cost, and so we'll be sharing with that. Thank you, Christine, for continuously sharing an invite to our pages. And for those of us that we meet there, we will encourage you to also check out on the YouTube page for Atara Solutions, so that you can be able to learn more. Some of the programs and some of the questions that we are asking here, they can be very well answered if you learn even through their programs. And I think with that, I just want to declare the blessings of God upon us and say, wherever you are, our mantra as Hallmark Institute of Professionals is to transform lives. And so we welcome you to join with us, so that you can be transforming lives wherever you will be, or wherever you are. Our lines are open. Our offices are open at Harambee Avenue at Agriculture House. Feel free to join us. And I think in respect of time, I would want to end this at that and say, may God bless you. Thank you so much, Madam Grace and Mr. Paul. We can't thank you enough once again. May God bless you. And to all our learners, for your patience and everything, may God bless you. I believe you have learned. May you go and transform lives. Asanteni sana. Have a blessed night.
Thank you. Goodbye.
There's somebody who was asking how they can get in touch with Paul and myself. Maybe they can connect with us on LinkedIn.
Yes. That would be great. For Paul and Grace, you can connect with them at LinkedIn, as Grace has advised. But if you really feel pressed and you don't want to go the LinkedIn way, I am very generous. I think that's one of my characteristics, Grace. I'm very generous. You reach out to us and we'll be able to share with you the contacts. God bless you. With their permission, of course. Blessings.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you and have a good night.
God bless you all.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye.